Well, I'd say that Paul Reed Smith guitars are, in comparison to most, are like a really good example of sort of a company that makes really forward-thinking instruments as well as very traditional in the same sense as well. And for me personally, PRS has been like a very iconic brand from the time I started playing. It was like my parents bought their first DVD player in like Carlos Santana Supernatural Live, and from like the time I can remember thinking about the guitar, the Custom 24 or at least a similar shape has been like sort of ingrained in my mind, so the PRS is special. I have two main Custom 24s. I have one in aqua blue that I keep in standard tuning, that I use for for practicing, teaching, things that that are, I guess, a little more conventional.
Like videos?
Videos, and yeah, like videos, exactly, Instagram stuff, like all that stuff. If I want to jam with something, I'll typically use that. And for a lot of the interval stuff, I have a Custom 24 in gray black that I use for the drop C stuff, heavier stuff kind of thing. Well, right now, intervals is off the road, just writing for our next release, taking our time with that, exploring some newer stuff that we haven't done before, in terms of sound and things like that. Can't say too much about anything at the moment, but it's just it's a good time to be home and be creative right now. 2014 was a busy year, and just looking forward to writing some music, making a record, and all that fun stuff. My first piece of gear was a Takamine acoustic. It was a big old dreadnought. I was like, I can't even remember what age. I'm not gonna do the math, but I guess 14 or 15 years ago, and it was massive. I couldn't even get my arm over it. Advice for learning to improvise. I'd say regardless of genre, I think the most important thing is context. And I think that a lot of people or a lot of players might forget that when you're playing something or you're improvising or you're playing a lead or anything like that, you're speaking, and you need to remember what you're saying or what you're trying to say. And if you're playing in a musical context, you have to play to the situation. So if your buddies are playing a blues or something, and you're just throwing the kitchen sink in and vibrato's super wide and everything's real angry sounding or aggressive, it might not be so appropriate. Or vice versa, if you're really taking your time and it's sort of an aggressive situation, you just need to remember to play to the situation and remember what it is that you have to say with conviction. If I'm telling you a story and I forget the punchline, it's not going to be very funny. So I think that's probably one of the most important things, is just remember what it is that you're trying to convey.